Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Smart English, the podcast that helps you learn practical English for everyday situations. My name is Sylvia, and I'm so happy you're here today. We have a very important topic. We're going to talk about apologizing. You know, saying sorry is something we do every day. But do you know the best ways to apologize in English? I have a special guest who will help us learn. Please welcome Alex.
Hi, Sylvia. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today.
Alex, thank you so much for joining us. So, let's start with a simple question. Why is apologizing so important?
That's a great question, Sylvia. Well, apologizing is important because everybody makes mistakes. When we apologize, we show respect to other people. We show that we care about their feelings. It helps us build good relationships with friends, family, and coworkers.
Exactly. And you know what? Many English learners feel nervous about apologizing because they don't know the right words to use. But don't worry. Today, we'll learn many different ways to say sorry. Alex, shall we start with the basics?
Yes, let's do it. The most common word for apologizing is sorry. It's simple and everyone knows it. For example, if you bump into someone on the street, you can say sorry or I'm sorry.
That's right. Sorry is perfect for small mistakes. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're late for a meeting. You can say, I'm sorry I'm late. Alex, can you think of other examples?
Sure, let's say you forgot your friend's birthday. You might say, I'm so sorry I forgot your birthday. Or if you step on someone's foot by accident, you can quickly say, oh, sorry.
Good examples. Now, listeners, let's practice together. Repeat after me. I'm sorry. Great. Now try this. I'm so sorry. Excellent. Alex, I notice you said I'm so sorry in one example. Is that different from just sorry?
Yes, good catch, Sylvia. When we add so before sorry, it makes the apology stronger. We use I'm so sorry when the mistake is bigger or more serious. For example, if you break your friend's phone, you would say, I'm so sorry, not just sorry.
That makes sense. So we have different levels of apologizing. For small things, we say sorry. For bigger things, we say I'm so sorry or I'm very sorry.
Exactly. And there's another way to apologize that sounds more formal. We can say, I apologize. This is more polite and more serious than sorry.
Oh, yes. I apologize is very useful, especially in professional situations. For example, if you're writing an email to your boss, you might write, I apologize for the delay. Alex, when else would we use I apologize?
We use I apologize when we want to sound professional or when the situation is serious. For example, if a company makes a mistake with a customer's order, they might say, we apologize for the inconvenience. It sounds more formal and respectful than just saying sorry.
That's really helpful. Now let's talk about another important phrase. Excuse me. Alex, is excuse me the same as sorry?
Great question. Excuse me and sorry are similar, but we use them in different situations. We use excuse me before we do something that might bother someone. We use sorry after we've already done something wrong.
Can you give us some examples? I think this might be confusing for our listeners.
Of course, let's say you need to walk past someone in a crowded place. Before you move, you say, excuse me, to get their attention. But if you accidentally bump into them, you say, sorry, after it happens.
I see. So, excuse me is like asking for permission or getting attention, and sorry is for apologizing after a mistake. That's a really important difference.
Yes, exactly. Here's another example. If you need to interrupt someone who is talking, you say, excuse me first. But if you accidentally interrupt them without meaning to, you say, sorry for interrupting.
Perfect. Listeners, let's practice. Repeat after me. Excuse me. Good. Now, Alex, I want to talk about something important. Sometimes just saying sorry isn't enough. We need to explain what we're sorry about. How do we do that?
You're absolutely right, Sylvia. A complete apology usually has two parts. First, we say sorry. Then, we explain what we're sorry for. We use phrases like sorry for or I apologize for.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure, here are some common ones. Sorry for being late. Sorry for the confusion.
Those are really useful. I notice we can use different words after for. We can say, sorry for being late, or sorry for the confusion. Listeners, these patterns are very important to learn.
Yes, and here's another useful pattern. We can also use sorry about instead of sorry for. For example, sorry about the mess or sorry about yesterday.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there a difference between sorry for and sorry about?
They're very similar, but sorry for is usually used with actions or specific things we did wrong. Sorry about is often used with situations or general things. But honestly, in casual conversation, people use them interchangeably.
Good to know. Now, let's talk about something else. What if someone apologizes to us? What should we say in response?
That's a really important question. When someone says sorry to you, you need to respond. The most common responses are, "That's okay." "No problem."
These are all very casual and friendly responses, right?
"Yes, exactly." These responses tell the person that you accept their apology and there are no hard feelings. Let me give you an example conversation. Person A said, "Sorry, I'm late." Person B said, "That's okay, don't worry about it."
Perfect example. And listeners, notice how person B uses two responses together. That makes it sound even more friendly and sincere.
Good point, Sylvia. You can also say things like, "That's all right, no problem." "It's okay, don't worry."
Wonderful. Now, let's practice a complete conversation. Alex, why don't you apologize to me for something and I'll respond?
"Okay." "Sylvia, I'm so sorry I forgot to bring the book I borrowed from you."
That's okay, Alex. No worries. You can bring it next time.
"Thanks for understanding."
See, listeners? That's a natural apology conversation. Now let's try something different. Alex, sometimes we need to apologize for bigger mistakes. How do we make a more serious apology?
That's an excellent point. For serious mistakes, we need to do more than just say sorry. A good, serious apology has several parts. First, we acknowledge what we did wrong. We show that we understand the problem. Second, we say sorry sincerely. Third, we explain what happened, but without making excuses. Fourth, we say how we'll fix it or make sure it doesn't happen again.
Wow, that's a lot of steps. Can you give us an example?
Of course. Let's say you promised to help a friend move to a new apartment, but you forgot and didn't show up. Here's what you might say. "I know I promised to help you move yesterday, and I didn't show up. I'm really sorry. I completely forgot to put it in my calendar. I understand if you're upset with me. I'd like to make it up to you. Can I help you unpack this weekend? I'll set a reminder this time so I don't forget."
That's a very complete apology. You acknowledged the mistake, apologized, explained briefly, and offered a solution. That's much better than just saying sorry.
Exactly. When the mistake is serious, people need to know that you understand why they're upset and that you'll do better in the future.
This is so important. Alex, what about expressions like my bad or oops? I hear these sometimes. Are they apologies?
Good question. "My bad" and "oops" are very casual ways to acknowledge a mistake. "My bad" means it's my fault, or "sorry, I made a mistake." "Oops" is what we say when we make a small mistake, usually by accident.
When would we use these?
These are only for informal situations with friends or people you know well. For example, friend, "Hey, you took my pen." You, "Oops, my bad. Here you go." But you would never use "my bad" in a professional email or with your boss.
Right. Always remember your audience. Speaking of professional situations, let's talk more about apologizing at work. Alex, how is it different?
Apologizing at work requires more formality and professionalism. Instead of sorry, we often use I apologize. We also need to be clear and solution focused. For example, instead of sorry, I'm late, say, I apologize for being late to the meeting. I'll ensure this doesn't happen again.
So we're more specific and we focus on the solution. What about apologizing in emails?
Email apologies are very common at work. Here are some useful phrases. I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Please accept my apologies for the delay.
Those sound very professional. I notice some of them are quite formal. When would we use these?
We use these formal phrases when writing to clients or customers, apologizing for business mistakes.
Excellent. Now, listeners, let's practice some of these phrases. Repeat after me. I apologize for any inconvenience. Alex, I want to ask about cultural differences. Is apologizing in English different from other cultures?
That's a really important topic, Sylvia. Yes, there are some differences. In English speaking cultures, especially in the United States, Canada, and the UK, people apologize quite frequently, even for very small things. It's considered polite.
Can you give examples?
Sure, native English speakers often say sorry in situations like someone bumps into them, even if it's not their fault. They need to ask a question.
That's interesting. So sometimes sorry doesn't mean I did something wrong. It's more like a polite way to start a conversation or soften what you're going to say.
Exactly. For example, you might say, sorry, could you repeat that? You're not really apologizing, you're just being polite. Or you might say, I'm sorry, but I disagree, to sound less aggressive.
This is so useful to know. So sorry has multiple uses in English. It's not always a true apology.
Right. But here's something important. We should be careful not to apologize too much. Some people, especially in professional settings, apologize so often that it makes them seem less confident. Sure, if you say sorry for everything, people might think you're not confident or competent. For example, instead of saying, sorry, can I ask a question? In a meeting, it's better to just say, can I ask a question? Or, I have a question.
So we should apologize when we really need to, but not for every little thing. That's good advice. Wonderful. Listeners, I recommend you practice these phrases every day. Try using them in your real life.
Yes, and remember, the most important thing about apologizing is being sincere. People can tell when you really mean it.
That's so true. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really helpful.
Thank you for having me, Sylvia. I hope everyone learned something useful today.
I'm sure they did. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on Talk Smart English. Remember, making mistakes is normal. What matters is how we apologize and learn from them. Keep practicing your English and don't be afraid to say sorry when you need to.
And remember, a good apology can save friendships, improve work relationships, and help you become a better communicator.
Exactly. Before we go, let's do one final practice. Everyone listening, please repeat after me one more time. I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you for understanding. Perfect. That's all for today's episode. Join us next time when we'll discuss another important English topic. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and be kind to yourself and others.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Just apologize and move forward.